What's up, fellas? It's your boy Nick checking in back at the Rum Hut. If you're not familiar with my channel, I am a huge CFL fan. I am in Winnipeg, and I'm a huge Bomber fan as well. And I'm going to try and be as non-biased as I can today, because I think you guys all clicked on here because you knew it was a power rankings video. This is my best opinion. You're welcome to have your opinion. It's probably not as good, but you can have it as well. If you want to make your own video, you're welcome to. And if you disagree with me in the on any of these, please put your opinion in the comments. I'd love to read it, and yeah, I'd love to read it. Without further ado, I am going to make this power rankings based on I'm gonna have 5 tiers. And it's going to be based off of the rest of the season. It's not going to be based off this week coming up. It's going to be based off of outlook for the rest of the season and where I think they're going to shake out by the end. Obviously, we don't know a lot about some of the injuries, so I'm just going to be guessing on some of those based off all the information we have. So without further ado, here we go. All right, boys, as you can see, I have my tier list up on here. It's over there, actually. You've got your Grey Cup teams, probably going to be the 2 teams in the Grey Cup, division finalists, playoffs, missed playoffs, first pick. So, without further ado, I think the worst team in the league right now is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Hamilton, looking at the results, like it's really, really poor. Week 1, they lose to the Stamps handily. Then they lose to the Riders, which I think was probably their best game. Then they got beaten, and that was at home. That game was so close, and they ended up blowing it at the very end. Ever since then, it's just been very poor. They go back and get stomped by the Riders, lose to the Red Blacks, get stomped by the Lions. They actually beat the Argos, beat the Elks, and then they got rolled over by Montreal. So I don't think it's over for them, but I just they have to have some better results than this. Like, I think that ever since they lost that game against the Riders at home, it really hurt them. I just don't think Bo Levi Mitchell's a very good quarterback at this point in his career. I don't know why they decided they're going to bet everything on him. Probably not what I would have done. So, yeah, I'm going to put them down at the bottom. And I think that their season is almost over. Next team on my list, and they had a huge week this week. I'm going to put Edmonton, but it's only because they're 1-7. I just think that their season, there's not really a lot of positivity that you can really take from being 1-7, but beating the Riders this week really, I think, is going to be a huge bolster for this team. Trey Ford had an amazing game, and I just think that going forward the rest of the season, they're going to have a chance to have some upsets. I don't think they're going to win every week, but there's a lot of teams right now that are really banged up, and they could make some noise. I think that if they can win 3 or 4 games, they're going to put themselves in contention to be right there at the cusp. So at the very end, I think that they will have a chance. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but very, very good to see that they had a much better week this week against the Riders. All right, so the next team on my list, this could change. Obviously, I am going to put Toronto in there. I don't think that there could be a crossover, but I think I'm going to put them in playoffs. I think if they do get Chad Kelly back, they're going to be a much better team. He's a better quarterback than the 2 guys they've got right now, Arbuckle and I can't even remember the other guy's name. But yeah, so I just think that they're good enough to make the playoffs. They're super, super inconsistent. Like, they're up 20-some to nothing against Calgary, and then blow it in the second half. Like, how is that even possible? So I'm going to put them as a playoff team. I think they're done, like one and done. I think even if they play, any other team aside from Hamilton in the playoffs, I think that they are done first round, barring Chad Kelly coming back, because I think he's a much better quarterback than the guys that they have. So next on my list is actually a really big surprise. Going into this week, I never thought this was the way I was going to put this. And I didn't really plan on making this video, to be honest, but super unexpected. I'm going to put BC at a playoff team, but I think that, now that Vernon Adams is out for, it says weeks, but it looked pretty bad. He was carted off the field, and he didn't look very good against the Bombers. So they got shut out, 25-0. They had 3 first downs. Like, even with Vernon Adams, like, I just don't really see it. Like, and I don't watch every team as closely as I do with my Bombers. I wasn't really aware of how poorly their results have been going this season. You look at some of the results, like they lose the Stamps by 1 the week before. They beat the Riders without Trevor Harris. They beat Ticats, who are horrible. They beat the Elks by 3 by when they're on their absolute downslide. Then they beat the Bombers by 2 the week before that. Like, they beat the Stamps. They were really good for a stretch here. They got stomped by the Argos, but it just seems like everything's been kind of going downhill with this team. And they've had some good results. But I just think right now, the way that it looks with the injury and just the way that they performed this week, you have to think that they're in some big trouble right now. So if I was a Lions fan, I would be very concerned. I'm going to put them in the playoff position, but it's not convincing whatsoever. Okay, so the next team on my list that I have right now, I'm going to put on Calgary. I think Calgary is also a playoff team. They almost lost to Toronto, and it was close. So I can't really put them a lot higher than Toronto right now, but the fact that they came back in the second half, I think that they definitely deserve to be a playoff team this year. But I don't think it's super convincing. I'm not really sold on Jake Maier, but they're kind of in the mix right now. Every game they play is really close. They can kind of beat any team any given week, I think. So yeah, I put them right in the mix right now. They're kind of one of those teams that's really boring to watch. They're going to always be in contention. There's never going to be like a game where they're getting absolutely destroyed, and they're not going to be winning a game by 30 or 40 points. So I think that they're kind of just always just hanging around. That's just how I see them. Next team on my list, I've got Ottawa. I think Ottawa I'm going to put up in division finals. I think that they are probably the second best team in the East right now, better than Toronto. Surprisingly, I just think that they're one of those teams that just keeps the game always close. They're not usually going to get blown out, or they're not going to win by a bunch. It's kind of like Calgary in a sense, but the East I just don't think is as good as the West right now. Minus the injuries, the East is a little bit healthier. So I'm going to put them in division finals, which is from the beginning of the season, I would have never predicted this. But I just think that just the way the teams have been playing, I think they're slightly better than Toronto. Doesn't mean Toronto couldn't beat them any week. I think they could. But just based on what I've been seeing this year, they're 5-2, which is excellent. And I think that, yeah, if they just keep up what they're doing right now and winning more than they lose, I think they could get a home playoff game. Now the part where it really hurts me. I'm going to put the Bombers in division finals. But it really is starting to look really good. The team is starting to look more like the team that we've seen the past 5 years. They're moving the ball on the ground. Their O-line was much better last week against BC. Their defense has been playing amazing. Zach, while not perfect, he's been playing better. So I mean, I could see them being in the division finals. I could see them winning it. It really depends in my eyes on the next team. The next team I'm gonna put at in Grey Cup champ or Grey Cup contenders is the Riders. I think it's gonna come down to the Bombers and Riders at the end. This is going to make for something that may give me a heart attack by the end of the season. And the one thing that's going to decide it is if Trevor Harris can come back healthy. If Trevor Harris can come back healthy, playing like he did before the injury, I think that they're going to be in the Grey Cup or Grey Cup champions. That is the one thing. They got beaten by Edmonton this week. They haven't been playing great with Patterson, but I think getting Trevor Harris back will be the one thing that decides whether they're going to be in the finals or in the Grey Cup finals or even in the Western finals or not. It's going to come down to one thing. That's really it. So very interested to see how that shakes out. And yeah, I'm going to put them in Grey Cup champion contenders. And then obviously this is all that's left is Montreal. They're the best team in the East, even without Fajardo. With Fajardo, I think they're the best team in the league right now, and it's not really that close. At home, I think they're, I don't think any team can beat them when they're at home. And until somebody knocks them off their perch, I really can't put them anywhere but the top. So I'm going to put Montreal at the top. They're kind of the cream of the crop at the moment. But there's a bunch of teams right now that are nipping on their heels, and maybe one of these teams gets really healthy and makes a push. So right now, overall, I think we're in an amazing place for the CFL. Every game's exciting. There's only a couple teams that you can kind of, as you can see, they're not contenders right now. But any game is exciting. There's no game that you can come in and just say, oh, I know that's what the result's going to be. Like the Bombers beating BC 25-0. The Argos, this week they blow a 25-point lead or whatnot, whatever that ended up being. The Elks beat the team I have in Grey Cup contenders. Like, how amazing is this? So if you know somebody who says the CFL is boring, tell them they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm a huge NFL fan. And half the games are blowouts. Half the games are over by halftime. So don't listen to any of these idiots. CFL is awesome. You guys keep being awesome. Please, if you guys enjoy, just simple things you can do. Just keep watching the videos. Just keep pushing it out there to more people. Hit the like and subscribe button. That would be awesome. If you really want to see the videos, hit the subscribe, turn on the notifications. Would really help me out, and I'll keep putting out more videos for you guys. So thank you once again, and peace. Go Bombers.